Morning guys, it is actually market day. It's about 7 AM in the morning. I need to leave in about half an hour and haven't packed anything because I wanted to film like what I pack for market day or how I pack and show you guys things, but obviously I've left everything to the last minute and now run out of time. So I'm going to quickly pack the suitcase and maybe once I get back we can do like what did I pack for my market day. One, I've still got my pyjama top on because I don't want to get my actual t-shirt dirty. I've showered and everything, done my hair and stuff, so I'm pretty much ready to go. It is literally just packing. Now, the things in this suitcase are from last week's market, so I'm just going to make sure I pack all my wax melts and everything else. I think I'm going to need 2 suitcases. So for a quick rundown, I've got my bags in here that I haven't branded yet. I didn't brand them. I should have because I had actually had time this week. I've got my little bags in here and I've got my stickers for whatever reason and tissue paper and more bags, little brown paper bags which were branded from, I think it was the Christmas market. And yeah, got some glue dots. I need like an actual resource bag. And then I've got these little sponges. I don't know if you remember from one of the last videos that I needed something to put the wax melt clamshells on so that they raise a little bit in the shelf. Anyway, I made those just out of like, I think you call it, not quite sure, I'll put it on the screen. Okay, coffee beans, little baskets that I used, sellotape, string. I'm going to keep a little resource bag here. I'm going to put my scissors there as well. A crate. So I'm literally just going to try and chuck as much as I can in here. Last but not least, brunch cup. I think that's it, but I'm going to leave I might put the plug in the mains just so we can get it. Not the mains, but like the extension. That's where I got it. Not the charger, and charger. In case. The only last thing to do is to pack the wax melts, which are all in here. Ready to go, so here's what I'm going to do. Would be nice to stuff this with something to stop it from slipping, but again, not always aiming for perfection. Sometimes just get it done. And then our posters. That's reminds me. I almost forgot. So I might put posters there just because it's I forgot my banner. That would have been a bit embarrassing. And a table cover. I don't think that fits in there. The shoe fits in there, so. good to go. I'm gonna put a bit of Vaseline on my lips, spray a bit of perfume, maybe put some earrings in, and then yeah, good to go. I'll see you on the other side. Guys, by the way, we just had our first sale. Someone bought some wax melts, which is nice. And a lot of interest in the diffusers. Hi guys, it's after the fair. I think it's about, Mike, what time is it? Do you know? For 4:30, coming up to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, evening. Just finished the market, just got back in. I'm exhausted, but I'm going to try not to sleep, because if I sleep now, then I won't be able to sleep tonight, and I've got work tomorrow, so I can't really afford to be doing that. What I'm going to do is do a quick stock check, just like I did last week. Just look, this is open, so just making sure that all of these wax melts here are in good condition and closed, seeing if I need to do any new labels for any of them, and just pack them away, write the stock down, and just pack them away for next fair, which is in a couple of weeks. So I've got next week off, next weekend off. So if there's anything that I need to replace, I'll use next weekend to do that. And then my next fair will be the following week, so in 2 weeks' time. But whilst I do that, I'm probably going to do a little voiceover of how I did at the market today. Right, so let's talk market day and what happened. So as you would have seen, we arrived quite early. I think we arrived not too long after 8 AM, and we were we were definitely the second vendor there, and the first person there was the same person that we were next to last week or the previous week. So we waited around for a bit, and eventually Owen, the organizer, showed us to our table, and again we were placed right next to the lady that we were next to the previous week, so that was actually quite nice. We had a longer table than we did previous week, so that helped a lot with the setup. As you would have seen, we were able to have 2 stands, one that housed the Cuban Oak. We were trying to promote Cuban Oak for Father's Day, and the other stand that had all the other diffusers on. And setup took about 45 minutes all in all. It was quite straightforward, and I guess it's because last week we had a run through, and so this week we knew what we were doing, we knew how to set up. We had a larger table, which obviously makes everything a lot easier. There were quite a few vendors. It ranged from like people making jewellery. I think we had 2 jewellery people on either side of us. And then there were people selling vintage clothes, records, glasses, and there was another home fragrance brand who also did re-diffusers and candles, and I think there was another person doing candles there. But I think I was so exhausted this week that I didn't get a chance to go around and meet some of the other vendors. But I did talk to the home fragrance brand, or the person that was doing re-diffusers and candles, who was opposite me, and she was so lovely. Her brand was a little bit different to mine, which obviously helped. So her brand was quite neutral, quite clean, whereas mine's quite playful, quite fun and colourful. So I guess you're either one or the other, right, in terms of a consumer or a customer. So in terms of like our branding, it didn't really clash. Whereas if I had more of a neutral brand, maybe there would have been a bit of competition there. So this market wasn't as busy as I was expecting it to be. Now, I say that because I have actually been to a market at Boxpark before, and it was quite busy, and the vibes, it was quite lively, and there were lots of people there, and there were a lot more vendors there. Whereas this time round, it was a lot quieter. And I think it's because, now I don't know if any of you know London or know Croydon, but there is a festival called Lambeth Country Show, which is held in Herne Hill in South East London, and Croydon is further south of London. So I think if anyone was to go out in South London, they would have gone to the Lambeth Country Show over Boxpark. And I think that's where the mistake was. Now, I knew that Lambeth Country Show was happening on that day, and I did actually apply to Lambeth Country Show, but I think I'd left it so late. I don't even think I got replied, to be fair. So I think obviously the weather was nice and it was a Sunday, but if people or customers had to choose between the two, they probably would have ended up at the Lambeth Country Show. So let's talk sales. So I made 5 sales in total, and that came up to £75. We sold 2 reed diffusers, 1 wax melter, and 4 wax melts, the 6-pack one. So we sold cashmere plums, Cuban Oak, sugar floss, and pear and freesia. And then we sold 1 mystery bundle. So as I said before, total sales came up to £75, then minus the £1.33 in the amount of fees that we had to pay using the Square app, and then paid £55 for the stall, £5 for parking, and £40 for food. So yeah, we are in a deficit of £26.33. And I was having to think about, you know, going to all of these markets, and obviously there will be times that we won't necessarily make back our money or come close to making a profit. So I've really had to sit down and evaluate what it is that I can get from this market if I do not make back at least the table fee. So hopefully I will be able to collate that all in a video. I've got 2 more markets coming up. So once those 2 markets are over, maybe I can sit down and collate all of that information in a video as to what changes I'm going to need to make in order to make sure that markets, if I don't make a profit, how we can still gain some sort of value out of attending these markets. So yeah, all in all, I would say, I don't want to say I'm disappointed. Obviously, I'm a bit frustrated because I haven't made any money whatsoever. Like, people have bought products, but basically we might as well just say that those products have gone for free because we've paid for the table to be there, and the time that it takes to make the products and everything that goes into making it, basically we have just lost it. Another thing I would say, obviously bringing packed lunch, so not being persuaded by the food that's around. Boxpark, I don't know if you've ever been, but there are quite a few street food vendors there. And obviously, if I'm not the only person going, or if I'm taking a second person, I guess it is down to me to make sure that I'm feeding the second person that's going to be there. So I have to bear that in mind when going to these places. How can I minimise the costs, such as food and drink? That was definitely a mistake on my part, and next time it will have to be a packed lunch situation, because I just cannot afford to be spending £40 on food and drink each time we go to a market. I think if we didn't spend that much, we would probably be in some sort of profit. But as we stand, yeah, we're minus £26.33 in deficit, which is a bit of a shame. Hopefully soon I will be able to do sort of like a top 10 market tips or whatever. And hopefully the market coming up in a couple of weeks, I will be able to implement some of the things I've been thinking about. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye.